welcome to the 123rd episode of the Sawdust Nation Podcast with your hosts, myself, Nick from NPG Creations, Josh from North Country Woodworking, and Nap from Nap's Naughty Works LLC. So we're just going to jump right into what's going on in the shop. Since Nap's got so much going on, I'm going to ask him. Nap, so I want to hear about Nap's balls. So tell me, Nap, how was it?
Oh, Jesus. All right, folks, first and foremost, I got to say, if there's anyone on YouTube land, I can't see you yet because I haven't gotten you up on my screen. As you know, I was not on the live. I literally got home probably just as it was starting. And let me tell you, folks, life in the real world is just awesome. I'll tell you about the real life here shortly. But anyways, Nick wants to know about my balls. I mean, my glasses at the ball. And I'd say, yeah, at the Air Force ball. So I got paid for it today, finally. First and foremost, that's like the most important part is I got paid. I was a little scared about that. Don't even get me started, Josh. We'll just say that a particular person that was in the event, won't say which part of the event, we'll just say planning wasn't planned properly. And funds were a little tight, and they had to do the whole, we have to deposit these cash sales that happened at the ball to pay you. So I got paid. Not that I won't work with that organization again, because the organization changes yearly. So it'll be a whole different committee next year. The fact that I did it this year could have gotten my foot in the door for future stuff for them. Don't know. And honestly, if it does, cool. But honestly, I don't want it. Because after 450 glasses, I tell you what, I don't want to see another damn wine glass. Just not a one. Especially when a whole box of them just magically grows legs and walks away in the middle of you setting them up. I have no idea where they went. Luckily, I had 20.
Somebody stole them?
I honestly don't know. There was 9 boxes of 48 plus a box of 12 plus another box of 6 because they came in boxes of 12 and I at least have another case. But I had a case and a half left. So luckily, I was able to fulfill the entire thing with glasses that they had given me. So I didn't have to pay, obviously, any extra money for glasses. They paid for all that. But etching an extra 20 was like, okay, an hour of my time just to get it over with. And we all had those jobs where it's like, I just want this done over, please just take it away. I think, Josh, yours was a wine bar once upon a time. Or no, was it the USO job? I don't know which job it was, but you were like, please just take it.
I've had actually a couple that, I've had I had to do like 60 boards at one time, engravings, and I had my diode laser, so you can only imagine how that was going. And
you had to have been wanting to rip your damn hair out.
Oh, yeah. There's been a couple different jobs where I have done ornaments with the diode, that wine rack, the USO job, which I haven't been in there since, so I don't even know they're utilizing them or not. But yeah, there's that.
That's good.
Enough about me. Let's get back onto you.
All right. So then I did go ahead and take care of that for them, did them the solid of finishing it. And because I wanted to get paid, I would have got paid regardless because I know I etched them all, but customers might get, they'll be like, well, how do we know? And blah, 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 blah. And I'll just be like, whatever, I'll just finish it. And you just won't have any clean glasses left, whatever. Don't care.
Yeah.
So then, and I'm going ahead and pausing that so I can turn the sound off and then push play again. So I have the lovely crowd over here finally. They were happy that they were cheap because at the end of the day, we anticipated, I did anyways. I said, you can project that 5% of the people probably won't show. I was almost dead on. 5% of the people did not show. And then I told them at least 10% of these cups will not be taken because people will be too drunk and forget them or they'll break. Well, none of them broke. They just, a handful of them got forgotten. And that's fine because guess what? At the end of the day, I still got paid and I may or may not have acquired a few for myself because, hey, why not? But other than that, everyone I got nothing but compliments. People are like, hold on, you etched these? I was like, yeah. 450 of them. And they're like, oh, no way. It's so cool. I'm like, if you say so. Because it wasn't cool when I was doing it. At the end result, though, it's cool to them because, most people don't think people possess that sort of skill, I guess. Which at the end of the day made me feel pretty good about myself when people recognize the work, but they were just wine glasses after all. So that job's done. All boxes are out of the living room hallway area. The wife is happy that space on the wall. Now let's get to what else is going on in the shop. You wouldn't know it, the stupid freaking heritage boards are still in my shop. They're sprayed. I have to just sand and spray the last coat on them and send them away. I'll just say work has been, we'll just say Naps Naughty Works is a lot slower than it once was because I'm not pushing out quite as much as I was. But I mean, shadow boxes are still on the forefront. I have a trophy I'm going to make for that other organization. But I got to say, lots of things going on at work that are keeping me from the shop. I just come home most days and I'm like, I really don't feel like going in there today because I'm tired. And it's both physically and mentally these days. But holidays are coming up, 4-day weekend next weekend. I don't know about you guys, but I have a 4-day weekend next weekend. Veterans Day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Pretty excited. But I worked through this weekend 12 hours, so there you go, shop time for that too. Yay. But yeah, I would say any other projects I've done have been well received. The couple acrylic jobs I did, they turned out fantastic. The comments that were actually made were, wow, these look a heck of a lot better than the metal ones that are made. Not because they, the other ones were bad. It was just the other ones were sprayed and they could scratch easy and the paint can come off. And the engravings look crisper than maybe, let's say, painting at times. Like there's steady hand, there's spray paint, and then there's laser. And the laser just does a better job. And they like them. So hopefully my boss isn't listening to him because he's the one that did those ones that were out of metal. Sorry. Not sorry. I'll talk shit to you when I get to work. No, it's funny because him and I, we joke. It's like, oh yeah, I'll say whatever I got to say to you to anybody. And then that's just kind of how he rolls. So it's like, it's no sweat off our backs.
Well, there's two hats. You wear 2 hats or 3 hats even. You wear, the military hat, you wear the woodworker hat, and then you wear, the friend or civilian hat, whatever. Yeah. Most people can take those off, put those on at will, and other people can too. And it's a really good relationship that way as far as a co-worker. Yeah. But there are people, and it sounds like you already talked about some of those, that don't know about the damn hats. They're all mixed together.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. They just... But yeah, the life in, the world and life of Nap, it's been very just, I don't know, tiring. Just not over it, but definitely want certain things to change. I think it'll make it all the better. I mean, I'm very productive, in my daily life, but just not here in the shop. And on that, my jobs have slowed down so much, it's almost sickening. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing right now, but I can tell you, I do miss making money. I can say that. But I think anybody would agree. And once you've done this stuff long enough, you're like, oh yeah, miss that. Miss money, miss making things. But it has open time to do other things that I've wanted to do, like go hunting, which I did do this past weekend. Killed 2 ducks and a pheasant. That was cool.
What'd they do to you?
They flew in front of me, and then I ate them. Oh. But that was cool. All the seasons are open right now, so pretty much if it flies, it dies. And if I had a bow and there's a deer and it's 40 yards away and I'm 440 yards from a habitation, I could kill it. So everything's in season right now. It's great. It's awesome. Hopefully I'll kill some more stuff this weekend, bring some more meat to the freezer. I mean, we already ate the 2 ducks and the pheasant's about to get eaten too. So
is that a Nokia phone? Look at that thing. It's like a brick.
What is that?
Is it vibrating?
That's his pager. It's a very large pager with a microphone.
There's a Walkman in it too.
Did I catch a 9er in there? Is that a walkie-talkie? But yeah, I know everyone listening is probably like, man, Nap's whining a lot. But no, really, it's just how life is right now. Not much you can do about it other than just truck through my days and get to the holidays, really. That's really the only thing I can say on that.
Over.
What's up?
Are you good? Are you good, Nick?
My neighbor called me. He never calls me unless something's wrong. So I was like, oh, what's going on? So.
Is that your walkie-talkie, though? Or
no, he was good. He wanted me to check on his. He bought a bunch of new tools. like a miter, like the portable miter station with a brand new DeWalt miter saw and stuff like that. And he's I'm going to Lowe's. I got to leave this stuff out because I can't push it in the garage right now. Can you keep an eye on it for me? I'm like, no, I'm doing something. I'm sorry, bro. I'll go check on it when I'm done though. He's like, okay.
Like, yeah, homie, sorry. Like, I'm recording right now. You can probably wait. Don't you have a window in there though? You just peep out there.
Yeah, but it's dark, dude. So I can't see it.
No, and then you'd be looking out that window, and the crazy old lady across the street will look out the window and give you the eyes, and be like, "What are you looking at?" But yeah, so that's what's going on. Really, nothing is going on in my shop. But yeah, let me kick it on over to Nick because he's always got stuff going on. Wonder if the CNC's done yet because I just want to hear about how it works and how it works so well.
Yeah, me too, bro. Me and you both. I am eager to get it working, but
how long have you had that now?
A couple months.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, Nick. Let me do you a solid. You just send me a couple jobs, take some off your plate so you can work on your CNC, and we'll make it happen for you.
Yeah, so that's another thing. The workload has not let up, especially close to the holidays. I've got like 6. I've got 200 more ornaments to make for Christmas ornaments for the distillery. I'm excited.
Keep that.
I like going up there and handing them off. They love the woodwork. So I think
love your wood. Got it.
Anyway, I just finished the double vision shadow boxes. I put that on my Instagram. 2 of the same shadow boxes that are going out. They're all boxed up, ready to rock and roll.
Was that a certain special type of shadow box that you're making? That one?
Yeah, that one I personally designed myself. Yeah, no, I spent months developing that.
Okay,
from
cool.
scratch. So I take full credit for that design. Yeah, I'm just
okay.
kidding.
Yeah, cool, man. I might have to yank that from you because I just kind of want to make my own variation and call it my own too.
You should. Anyway, those are done. Check out my Instagram if you want to see them. I've made a couple of plaques in the past few days. One of them being super, super last minute, but it was the guy made it worth my while. So
hit the bell for a rush fee. Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, this was like, hey, I need it. This is Friday. He's like, I need it Sunday. Well, you're gonna pay. Let's see here. Last minute order. That was one of the plaques. Potential new shop coming, depending on things, but it's going to be a few months because the house that we are trying to go for has to be built. I mentioned that during the live, and I think I mentioned it last week. But the one I was talking about last week, it turns out that house doesn't exist in this area. It was a photo of a house in a different part of town. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not moving all the way across town. I'll move 5 miles down the road. I'm not moving all the way across town. Because I'm looking at overall cost here, right? And property tax and all that stuff. Yeah. So I'm trying to just move outside the city limits, right inside the Medina area. And it's going to drop property tax for me. And also, it'll be an ease to move. I won't have to worry about loading a truck, securing everything to drive 15 to 20 miles away, and then to download it and drive back and potentially having like a transfer truck for multiple days. I can do most of my stuff in one day. And obviously I'll have to strap it down inside the truck and all that, but
I thought you were just going to roll it down the street. Everything's on wheels, right? You just push it.
I would like to do that. Honestly, I really don't even want to move myself. I just want somebody else to do it, but I don't trust anybody else to touch my anybody else to touch my equipment.
Learn from my mistakes. Don't do it. Just do it yourself.
Yeah, I partial diddied my move up here or down here from New Jersey. So I had all of my equipment in the trailer. The trailer was heavy, but it was worth it because I didn't break anything. Anyway, and then we did have movers move all our household items, and they were breaking stuff left and right. So whatever,
Yeah.
So the new shop that I'm talking about is the potential house that we're going to have built, or at least we're looking at having built. It should have 3-car garage. And that being said, I was speaking with the builder today about just while the house was being put together, putting 220 all throughout the garage. at least 3 220 outlets, one on like the left-hand side, one in the back, and one on the right. This way, if I do have like a planar joiner combo or something like that, or like I keep the two next to each other and I can unplug one and plug the other in. I'm not too worried about just leaving them all plugged in all at the same time, just because they'd be right next to each other. The CNC obviously is going to have to be 220. So that'll be all by itself. And then on the other side of the garage will be my air compressor, which is 220. And I believe that's all I have for 220 items right now.
Hey, Nick, question. You should tell them to do an underground 220 for you, so that way you can have a plug in the middle of the floor.
Yeah,
for the table saw.
That's, dude. I was looking at that. And they have a price list on how much it costs. So I'm looking at keeping the mortgage, doable or payable.
I hear you.
And so what they want right now is it would be like $1,200 for those 3 plugs and various other 110 outlets to be throughout the garage in the configurations that I want. That's a lot of money. Now, here's the thing, though. The house isn't mine until I close on it. So I can't just be like, hey, I'll come in and have my electrician do stuff while you guys are building the house, because that's a foul. They're not going to let a third-party electrician come in and do the work. But in the end, I'm going to save money because, and I'll give you the why. Because you know how hot. What's up?
Broken down, first of all, and you know it's done right.
Well, yeah, so it's going to be inspected, it's done right, all that stuff. But moving from my shop now to the new shop, there will be 0 lapse in time where I can't use that equipment. Does that make sense to you? So I won't be without the capability. I know right now, if I want to schedule an electrician to come out to my house, which I have, it takes up to like 7 to 10 days for them to even just come out. So that's assuming they're going to do, if they have the equipment and stuff to do the work that day. Because I can tell them till I'm blue in the face what I need, but I'm not an electrical guy, so I don't know all the stuff to code and all that stuff. So they have to order parts, and then I got to wait another week for them to get the parts and bring it back and install it. So you're looking at anywhere from like 1 to 3 weeks where I would be down. Now, granted, I will be down for a couple days because I have to move all my stuff, but I can still run the laser, still run the CNC once I get it running, actually. So that's a moot point. But I'll still have access to the air compressor and all that other stuff.
So Stan over here has a perfect way you can save money, get everything you want, and reduce moving. See that cabinet behind you? Sell that bad boy and everything in it. And then you have like $5,000 to put in the extra plugs and everything you want, and you won't have to move it all.
That's true.
Shit,
hey,
more than that.
Stan, if you want, I'll sell you this cabinet behind me for $5,000. It'll be too easy, brother.
With everything in it.
With everything in it, you can have it for $5,000.
There you go, Stan. You heard it here first. All that amazing bourbon, all yours for just
don't tell the ATO.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I've been I'm behind on some jobs, but they don't have due dates, so I'm trying to catch up on those this weekend. Sorry, I was caught mid yawn.
Love when that happens.
You guys, you eat Mexican or like Tex-Mex, right? Now, Josh, you like Tex-Mex?
Well, I wouldn't say Tex-Mex over here because I got like a full-blooded Hispanic wife who makes me the good stuff. So no.
Well,
but I like it.
Yes,
do you know the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean? Anyway, go ahead.
Is that your handoff?
Go ahead, Josh.
Okay, just want to make sure. Beans, the magical fruit, huh? Anyway, so it has been a week since the last time we came on here, and I feel more knowledgeable. I feel like I'm in a better place when it comes to my laser game and how it's operating. So I set a challenge out there. I asked Nap, I'm like, what can you do with your laser? He's like, well, I could do 5 for speed, 35% for power, cut through half-inch maple ply and clean. And I'm like,
no.
So I'll give you some backstory here. So I've been trying to really dial in my laser because with certain things that have happened, I've been doing like small fixes to kind of, creak my way through. And I was going through and I'm like, you know what? I have some jobs, but it would make life so much easier if I go ahead and just make this happen this weekend. I got the time, I had the energy for it, and I'm like, let's do it. So I found out where I wanted to be by seeing where Nap was sitting because, he has his pretty dialed in. And then I set on a path of a bunch of research, dialing in the laser, and basically I knew enough to get it dialed in. By the time I left that laser alone this weekend, I knew so much more. And it only took 7 dozen YouTube videos, bothering Nap every other hour, and actually diving into myself. So I had this projection of what I wanted to accomplish because when I started off and I did my initial burn in the 1/2-inch maple ply, I couldn't burn, I couldn't cut a piece out nowhere near where he was. I was like, I don't know, I was 5 with like 60% power, or it might have been 70, and like 3 passes. So I'm like, this is way off. This doesn't make sense. He has 100 watt. I have 100 watt, and I'm going to make it happen. So, well, I did. I got it dialed in, really, really dialed in. I basically have my laser shooting the same point in all 4 corners. And my wife did an amazing job at occupying the kids and taking them out and keeping an eye on her hair while I did all this. She's a true rock star. She's also listening to the podcast right now. And
she made a comment as you were saying it, by the way.
Yes. Well, long story short, I got this dialed in to the point where you need it. I have a dead center. I have everything shooting in the same spot. I did the 4 corners plus the bullseye in the middle. I did all 3 positions and all 3 positions on the side. I was extremely happy. I go back and I'm still having trouble cutting through this plywood. And I'm like, what is happening? I cleaned the mirrors. So I cleaned all the mirrors and I cleaned them again. I went through, adjusted a whole bunch of other stuff, redialed it in. And at the end, I got down to where I was doing 5 millimeters per second at 40%, 2 passes. And I'm like, I'm still not there when it comes to cutting through the plywood. But going from, 74 passes down to that 40%, it was a huge achievement. And I did some more research because I wasn't there yet. And I learned about focal point and different mirrors and different nozzles and stuff like that. Well, come to find out, I have a 2.0 or 2-inch nozzle. And that mirror is great for general purpose engraving and some minor cutting. Going through 1/4-inch stuff is where it's usually maxed out. Or I think they said the very max is in soft material 0.8. And if cutting through plywood, there's a lot of voids and there's different materials and glues and stuff. So it makes it a little more difficult. Nap over here has a 2.5, which is great for cutting through stuff. And so I went on and ordered myself some new mirrors. Better mirrors from was American Photonics. I ordered mirrors, ordered all the different nozzles with the better lenses already glued in. So basically, I won't need to do anything but place a AAA battery underneath the nozzle when I exchange them, and I won't have to do a ramp test or anything. I'll still do that. I want to see and make sure. But according to his site, you won't need to do a ramp test. Everything will be dialed in according to that. So we're going to see. I got that coming. Should be here the 3rd. So I got 2 more days. I'll be able to cut through. The first thing I'm going to do is put that 2.5 in, dial it in, and see if I can get that 5 millimeters per second at 35 in 1 pass. That is my goal. And if I can get that at the first go, then I know my laser's dialed in. With winter coming in and then, the holidays, I wanted to make sure it was ready to go. So I can maintain, learn how to dial it in a little bit better and, get ready for those orders. And it's funny because as I did that, I received a last minute order. I got to get a flag out. Currently working on Airman Leadership School plaque. I got a huge order for a retirement chest, trunk, whatever you want to call it. So that's awesome. I can't wait to start working on that. I got a whole bunch of stuff just in the works. I finished with a couple of my design projects that I've been kind of referring to. I can't say anything about two of them just because it's not just for myself, it's for a company as well. But the other ones are basically dialed in enough. I should be listing them at the end, or I say middle of the month of November, around the 15th. So they'll be for sale. And I'm super excited about that. And I'll be also selling some SVGs that I've created on my website and stuff too, and Etsy. That way I can start making money off of digital files, because you know what, digital files, even though you're selling them for $1 or $2 or whatever, they never run out. I never have to worry about restocking or working past the first initial design phase. So I'm working that avenue right now. I have some stuff in mind, and I'm hoping to basically be posting most of this up, if not middle of the month, end of the month. Basically trying for multiple streams of revenue right now. Trying to get monetized on the 3D printers, monetized in files, and then obviously the woodworking. Because what it comes down to is I really want to make this a retirement gig. I have to have that. Because, I've experienced something I haven't experienced since I started this woodworking, is a lull in orders, a really big one. It's starting to pick up now. But what it comes down to is I need to figure out a way where even when I get those, I still have a revenue coming in for the business side of things. There's always going to be a need for supplies. There's always going to be a need for stuff. If I have, I would like to refinance my truck and put it on the business side, I want to make sure I can pay that bill. I've learned how to design over the last year and a half to a proficient standpoint where I'm actually knocking out quite a bit for people for different stuff, not just for woodworking, but I've had people ask me to design logos and other stuff. So that might be a service I provide too. Because not only do I enjoy that side, I think I'm pretty good at it. I've actually, during high school, I took classes for that. And I was actually going to go to school for a graphic designer at one point in time, but I joined the military instead, became a mechanic. So different entire path was treaded. So I'm super excited about all this because it's almost like a dream realized. I'm doing things I love, I'll get that creative outlet going, and hopefully I can get, some cool cash out of it too. So it's a lot of exciting stuff for myself. Every time I think about it, I just can't wait to get into it. I got all these ideas. I'm starting putting them into reality, and there's nothing better than that. And all I did is, I just said, enough's enough. I don't have any more time. I don't have any more energy than I've had, but I'm going to do it anyway. So a little bit more on my plate. I'm a little bit more tired. My wife has been doing an amazing job of helping me out, with the family stuff and giving me the time needed. I opened a whole new door when it comes to the business, and I can't wait to see what comes from it. I've had a pretty exciting week when it comes to all that, and it just continues to get more exciting as everything starts progressing. So, yeah, with the jobs, I got to deliver a few things. I actually got another hammer order in today. 2-foot mallet hammer thing I do, which it's been a while since I've done one. I was getting kind of worried to see if they don't want any more or not, but they do. It's just not so many people are PCSing right now. That's all it is. There's one thing I haven't done that I started asking around about today is I don't use MDF pretty much at all. It's not something I usually keep in the shop or work with. I try to stay away from it. But I did receive a job that it would just be perfect for. It's a wall decor, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't really need structural component. I just need something that will sit flat and hopefully, gets cut out well in the laser. So we're going to give that a go. I asked the guys about it and asked Matt Voltner as well. Just asking around essentially to get people's feedback about how they like working with it. I hear it's harder cut because of it being so compact with glue and stuff like that. But it's just another challenge I need to overcome. If not, there's other material out there that I can utilize to make what I want to make. So it's not the end of the world. I did just finish a carve on the CNC. I will say my carving on the CNC has got much, much better. But the bed is not flat still. And when I say it's not flat, the carving came out great. If I gave it to the client, they're not going to notice any difference whatsoever. I noticed a difference because after you do this for so long, you start being able to notice small, minute details. And I am going to start also exploring a way to change up the bed and make it basically aluminum. If that's buying a new bed for that, or if that's using the aluminum that Victor from Designs provided me, I don't know which one yet. But I think it's going to happen soon because I'm sick and tired of having a completely flat piece. And then my MDF on the table it's right next to the door. And with having wet weather and it expanding and contracting, it could be off just by a little bit too. So I'm going to definitely work that because I want perfect pieces every time. So that's about it for myself in the shop. There's a lot going on, a lot of great stuff. So things starting to pick up a little bit. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got a lot of challenges ahead of me, but you know what? Just take one at a time and get through them. So can't wait for it.
I too tuned my laser last week.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you're not careful, you'll just kind of slide into not being as efficient and not even realizing it until one day you go to cut something and you're like, whoa,
yep,
what's going on? Right. Obviously my first thing is to check the lens, check the mirrors, check the air assist. I've had it to where the air assist was out and I didn't know about it.
Real fast.
The compressor wasn't pushing air.
Yeah.
One poke with the broomstick and it was pushing air again. Yeah, that's what you get when you buy Chinese like that. Like just that air, that little constant flow one. Sometimes the tubes get clogged. I mean, I've seen where I'll take the nose cone off my laser and I'll pull the air assist tube out, and then I'll blow that connection point out, and there's just a ton of soot that comes out of there. So that can collect. But yeah, once you do tune it back up and get it, do the ramp test and get it zeroed back in. I found a new focal point. So now I have a different focal point for the lens, and it works fantastic. So it's like getting a new tool. I was just talking to John Davis about that. By the way, John says hi now.
Yeah, I talk to him on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here searching through my files for a particular coin inlay that he asked if I had, and I know I do. I just don't know where the hell it's at.
During the adventures of the laser this weekend, I did run into where I didn't plug in the air assist. I forgot to, and I started cutting, and I quickly realized you need that air assist.
Don't say.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a flame, and of course I stopped everything and got it in time. But I got nervous. I thought I was going to pull a Nick, and but I got it done in time. And
so now I'm more vigilant, by the way.
Yeah, I imagine you are, man.
Yeah, so I'm more vigilant. I always, before I start the job, I run my hand underneath the nozzle to see if the air assist is blowing. Because if it's not, that's a big problem.
Maybe it happens real quick too.
But I've been running cuts on 16th inch acrylic with the adhesive paper on the back. I think it's like 50% power at 25 millimeters per second. It's doing a fantastic job.
He's running it faster than what I would run. That's why he uses the higher power. So if you can dial it in with a higher power with a faster speed, yeah, you'll get the same result as if you slow it down with lower speed.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to accomplish, was optimizing speed, because speed is important for when I'm cutting pieces out. I have all of my acrylic prepped, and it's just like, so in Lightburn you can color code your layers. So I'll do like layers 1 through 10 or whatever, and I'll hide all the ones that I'm not doing, and I'll just go down the line like boom, 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 pull out the pieces and all stuff. And it's actually working out pretty good for me. I haven't really had too many hiccups. Every now and then you get like, which I find is usually when your lens starts getting dirty, is like it won't punch all the way through on like one side of the piece. And then you got to like, I learned the hard way, don't move the piece You just kind of have to like put your finger down on it and then try and peel it up a little bit. And if it doesn't peel up, run it again. And then address your laser after that piece is fully cut out. Because I've definitely screwed the pooch on that before.
I did that not too long. That's one of the reasons we wanted to realign it. Because I've never had issues cutting through acrylic. Like, it's never been an issue. And I cut, 6-inch New Jersey outline out, and it just didn't go all the way through. And I'm like, something's wrong. something here is not right. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I'm not going to do it every week. Maybe every 2 weeks, I'm going to do another alignment. Just because once you start doing it enough, it becomes so much faster. And like, I actually sat down and configured my pulse on the machine so that it's the perfect setting now. And I only have to push it once. It gives me the exact mark I need. I don't have to touch any other dials or anything. And like, I streamlined so much this weekend for the future that I am confident that if I do have an issue, it's going to be probably something different. We're probably going to mess up a whole bunch when I change out those mirrors and everything else. So,
well, you have to do the whole process over again, I bet.
Oh, absolutely.
And then,
but I'm hoping the new mirrors, because I got the gold plated, whatever, that they'll be much, much better. So,
was it NAP? I forgot what I was going to say, man. It had to do with the laser. Whatever. Just keep moving. I'm sorry.
Included in that kit that I bought as the 4 different size nozzles. They also have the mirrors already pre-glued in there, and it has basically a always on laser that you could put into the tip, and it allows you to make sure that it's at 90 degrees at your nozzle. That way you get the perfect alignment. And also, what I believe what it is, and I read it right, is a way to tune the air as like a valve that you could turn it off and on. So I know Nap was talking about different, airflows for cutting and for different settings. It won't be something that I can control digitally or have a great percentage of, but I could definitely tune it down and up versus just having max air at every single, engraving and cutting. That's something I have to do much more research on before I start messing with, but at least that option might be there. So it's a great package for what you get. You get like 4 different lenses, 4 different nozzles, the always on laser. You get a battery for alignment. You get
how much is it?
Valve. It's like $250 for everything.
250 bones.
Yep, and he gives you a choice between lens cleaning cloth or extra batteries for the always on laser. So he gives you a little extra too. It's like for $1.
I'll buy that for $1.
But the amount I've used this laser and what I want to do with it, having the right focal length nozzles, I think is going to be imperative, because I've already found out with a 2-inch nozzle, I can cut through stuff, but it doesn't give me the clean cut. I have a little charring, and I have to do a little bit higher power. I have to do it, multiple times versus the 2.5. And then I think it comes with a 4 as well and a 1.5. I'll have the whole range.
So speaking of lasers, and this is not really a laser, but I discovered this guy on Instagram. His name's Drew Clark, and he runs Metal Tuition. That's his handle, Metal Tuition. Check him out. But he does CNC with a plasma cutter. That's not a laser, but still. Some of his work, he's active duty in the Air Force, by the way, and some of his stuff is absolutely phenomenal. I really was just like, at first, kind of like, okay, what is this? And I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
He killed it. And some of the things look like some of the stuff that we make out of acrylic with all the layers and all that. But yeah, I would have to, like, if I was to say what I could, I don't know, sort of compare it to, would be like militarymetalart.com, but just not as big of stuff.
Yeah.
So I also talked to him on the phone. I was seeing if he was receptive to come on a podcast too. So You never know. He could come on here and talk to us a little bit about the metal side of things, because from the looks of it, I don't know if you guys are looking up his stuff right now, but from the looks of it, this is like super precision stuff. So it's like really nice stuff.
That's eventually something I'd like to have operating too, especially if you go full time. Because if you could do the metal side of things, the wood side, and then you're doing acrylic and epoxy, if you could say yes to basically when someone says, hey, can you do this? You're going to get the job. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they already came to you and your prices are not too extreme. So that's the goal, at least. That's the reason why I went from wanting a Stepcraft to wanting AVID, because the options there. You can switch back and forth. So that's what sold me with AVID. And then Joey and then, Nick, their experience with it, the quality and everything else has definitely also helped kind of switch gears with that. But that, I don't think will ever happen in the shop. I've done the measurements multiple times. My wife sees me out there with a tape measure. And when I go and I measure and there's like 3 inches between the laser and said new CNC, I can't do it. Plus the 220 would be kind of hard to get.
Yeah, well, at least in your current configuration. Unless you run a generator outside.
Yeah, I don't want to
constantly,
do that.
Is that guy out there doing that again?
I did mention how I was watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos and everything. And I wanted to mention a maker that I found that did some amazing YouTube videos that helped me along of just not necessarily stuff I didn't know, but things that I already knew. And I would like to watch how he did them just to see like if I'm doing something different, if he has a different technique. But it would help reconfirm some of the stuff visually that I was doing. And it's Bearded Builds. And he's doing some pretty affiliate of OMTech as well. But he has a pretty good video line of like how to do stuff. And then I've been talking to another maker that's had some Glowforge issues. And I'm trying to get him set up with maybe OMTech because for the amount that he's spending on a Glowforge, we can get him a nicer laser on at least the bigger CO2 side. So I don't want to mention his name. I don't have permission. I asked him if I can mention his name, but he hasn't got back to me. But I'll talk about him next week and see after we help him out a little bit. A lot of laser talk today, huh?
Yeah. CNC laser, whatever. We're all human, man. Right. So we talked about the. I want to address this before we move into closing up the episode, but we talked about Christmas is coming up, didn't we? Earlier in the live.
Yep. Hearing the jingle bells.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. We talked about how this month's giveaway wasn't as stout as it normally is on our live. But if you are available on what day would it be? It would be the first Tuesday of December. That's going to be
the 6th.
I have it right here. I'll stand by when I pull it up.
That's Tuesday, December 6th, the year of our Lord 2022. Tune into the Sawdust Nation Podcast live event on YouTube. The link is in our bio, or our link tree in our bio on Instagram. So check it out. If you can't find it for any reason, just go to Google or go to YouTube, www.youtube.com. Type in Sawdust Nation Podcast, and we come up. There, we have a bunch of videos in there that day, and it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern time when we do the live event. You have to be present to win, but we're gonna have a bunch of cool stuff. I don't know about a bunch, but we're gonna have some really cool stuff to give away. More specifics to come on that, but trust me, you don't want to miss it. And we normally don't plug the live event too often on our actual podcast, but this is something it's super special. Santa's coming to town, baby, and he's bringing his sack. So
full hardwood.
That's right. So
you need to subscribe to our YouTube to be eligible to win. And there might be ways to get double entries if you're not a Patreon. And the Patreons will get their double entries plus whatever if they
whatever
attend.
the gimmick is for that month.
Yeah, so it's going to be a gimmick. I'm not going to lie, but we're discussing it now. You can watch the live for November and see what we're talking about. We got to catch Nap up on that. That way we can kind of see what he thinks, and then
we'll come to a consensus. But ladies and gentlemen, just remember, Santa's sack's so big because he only comes once a year, and it's going to be on the 6th of December
every year.
Oh my gosh, guys! But that's right, all the hoes in the house. But I'm going to go ahead and start the credits. What do you think?
Go ahead, spin them.
All right. So if you're listening to us on Apple, no, I'm just playing. I got you. We want to thank Daniel from PWN CNC for making this episode possible. This is the 123rd episode of the Sawdust Nation Podcast. So Daniel at PWN CNC, thank you so much. If you're looking to buy anything for that aftermarket CNC, the aftermarket parts for your hobbyist CNC, go to pwncnc.com. Use promo code SawdustNation981 to get 10% off your order. And that's off everything. So get the Noah's Ark special, 2 of everything. And we also want to thank Total Boat for their continued support. If you want to get a 10% off promo code for Total Boat, slide into our Sawdust Nation Podcast DMs and we'll hook you up. And I also want to thank our affiliates, OMTech, you guys rock, and Makerstock.com. So Makerstock.com gives you 10% off your initial order with promo code Sawdust10. They've got great acrylic and veneers and Baltic birch and all that stuff. So check them out at Makerstock.com. Last but not least, I want to kick it on over to Nap. Nap.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were going to say something else. So check it out. If you're listening to us on the if you're listening to us on the old Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those things, go give us 5 stars. And if you don't give us 5 stars, let us know why. Because if you don't tell us what you want, what you really, really want, you can't talk about what you want. But if you do give us 5 stars, still give us feedback, maybe some topic ideas, maybe some questions. Probably going to start rolling up them stories again with questions, because it's been a while since we've had a few questions on the podcast. It's been a while. See what people are getting themselves into. Maybe they can give us some stuff they've been working on in the shop too, because hey, we like highlighting makers and those things. But if you want to get a hold of us, Josh, how do they get a hold of us?
Well, it's easy, folks. If you have Instagram, you can always get a hold of the Sawdust Nation Podcast. You reach out. All 3 of us have access, so you never quite know who's going to reach out. But you know what? That's half the fun. If you want to reach us individually and ask a certain question, you can do that by reaching out to Nat from Nap's 90 Works LLC, Nick from MPG Creations, and myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking. We're always going to be happy to answer those questions, or, field any kind of questions you have, or talk about, the shop, organization, what have you. If you're not a social media fan, that is perfectly fine. You can go ahead and reach us on our email at sawdustnationpodcast@gmail.com. You do the same thing. Shoot us questions, voicemails for the actual podcast, talk shop, whatever. We're there for your convenience. We love helping makers, and that's why we do it. Beyond that, if you want to be part of the podcast, you can go ahead and become a Patreon. That's the best way to be part of what we do here. You could watch us live during recordings. You get double entries in all giveaways, including that December one that's coming up. And, you're actually part of the podcast. We have Patreons right now listening in, giving us questions and ideas and making us chuckle on the side. And that's what it's all about. So those are some ways you be part of the podcast and reach out. And let's go ahead into final words there, Nap.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot to say other than just keep taking care of each other, keep giving back to the community. As you heard, Josh reaches out to me quite often. Nick even still does from time to time, even with all his awesome toys and the fact that he's starting to become more of an expert on what he's doing. Hell, you even heard Josh talking about his laser work. He's been reaching out through the YouTubes and all those things, and it's because people are putting good content into the community and not hiding all the trade secrets, because that's not what we're about here. Other than that, keep taking care of each other, folks. Nick.
All right, like always, take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, folks, the only difference between light and hard is you can sleep with the light on.
Thank you for joining us for the 123rd episode. As always, you can turn us on in the morning, making that cup of coffee, making some breakfast, on your way to work, on your way back from work, in the gym, in the shop. We don't care how you turn us on. We just want to whisper in your ear. And with that, go make some sawdust, and Sawdust Nation out. And with that, let's all sing Nap a happy birthday because he just had a birthday.
That was the last week.
Happy birthday
to you.
Fast forward, how old are you? I'm 32. Yay. I feel so much older than that.
Oh, and remember, folks, condoms should only be used in every conceivable occasion.